So what I'm going to do now is show you how I carve the faces of the hills, or of the rocks, however you want to look at it, and we'll kind of go from there. So I start at the top edge. Really doesn't matter. If you're left-handed, I guess you could start from this side and go this way. I'm right-handed, so I'll be starting here and working my way around. So I'm going to start at about a 45-degree angle with the cutter, and I'm just going to do some twisting motions around the edges. And to keep this in the video frame, it looks like I'm holding it a little awkward, which I am, so you just kind of have to play with it as you're making the cut. And forgive me if I don't say a whole lot while I'm doing this. I'm just not smart enough to do two things at once. So that's our first pass. And now we're going to do the same thing starting at the bottom. And we're going to cut up through the pieces that were left on the first one. You can see the edges here that kind of stick out or don't have anything done to them. We're going to try and chop those in half, maybe cut them into quarters. It's just all about personal taste, really, for me anyway. Kind of knock off the bottom. This is where creativity really comes in. No two pieces are ever going to look exactly the same. There's just way too many variations with how you move your hand, how you hold the piece. Yeah, so just get creative with it. Start twisting and cutting as you go. Maybe come in deep on the bottom and leave a nice indentation along the bottom when it's sitting. There's no real rhyme or reason to any of this. It's just whatever you like. And I think that's probably enough for this one. There really is no such thing as too much. Again, you just have to kind of play with it, see what looks good whenever it's down actually on the table. Let's see if I can get a better close-up than that. Now we're going to carve a hillside, a rocky hillside, with our trusty bread knife. This happens to be a Ginsu. You may have seen their commercials. They've cut through steel plate and can still slice a tomato perfectly. Yeah, there's a reason why they don't have foam on there, because foam is the only thing in the world that I found that can dull a Ginsu. So, yeah, I want to see that in the commercial. Anyway, here's where we start. All I've done is just cut out the hill from a regular piece of foam, and now we're just going to start carving different angles. It's not a good idea to cut towards yourself or towards your fingers. That would be bad. I'm a trained professional, so if I cut towards myself, it's not because I'm an idiot. Okay, well, maybe it is, but we'll just leave it at that for now. Pretty much the same way as the last piece. There's no specific right or wrong way to do this. Just carve different angles until you find something that you like. You can do different plateaus, different levels. Just pop it up. Leaves a nice area there. Do a deep one. Maybe you want an indented cut. Pull some chunks off. You can use your fingernails and pull areas off. Got a little too close to my finger there, huh? And I could honestly sit here all day and just do smaller chunks, smaller pieces, different angles, different depths. But I think you kind of get the idea of what we're looking for. So I know what you're saying. Hey, that looks like crap. And you're right. At this point it does. But all we're going for at this stage, doing it this way, is just a rough layout of how we want the face to look. So that is that. And again, you want to do this however you like it, however you think it looks good when you're putting it on your own board. Okay, so now that this part's done, we have two options. We can either leave it like this and then we'll put a coating on it later to seal it up. Some of these pieces that are sticking out will actually go away, or we can hit it with a rough sandpaper. The 220 grit that we used on the board itself will be fine for this also, to just knock down some of these pieces, the little edges that are sticking out. Yeah, and that's about all there is to that until we get to the painting and sealing part. So it's kind of your preference. Can be done with this, can be done with the hot wire foam cutter. My personal preference is the foam cutter just because it's easier for me. This method works fine. Just to me it takes a few more steps. It does look a lot more natural doing it this way. And I've seen some excellent pieces that have been done like this, either being coated with plaster or, you know, just like the Kamloopian has his goop method that would go over this real nicely, make it look, once it's dry brushed, just like a natural hill.